Good afternoon. Welcome to Real Talk Real Estate. We're so glad you joined us on this lovely Friday afternoon. How's everybody feeling out there? You guys feeling good?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Feel good Friday.
Feel good Friday.
90 degrees.
Oh my gosh, hot.
Yeah.
Hot one.
Not blistering heat, like not 102 like last week, so
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Still pretty hot, man.
Cody was telling me about they were in Vegas. Cody from our brokerage, and they were in Vegas, and it was still 95 degrees or 98 degrees at 11 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, ooh,
That is so hot. That is so hot.
Yeah, especially that late.
I was watching the weather, and they were talking about this weather phenomenon, and they showed the timeline of somewhere on the Arkansas Valley, and the Arkansas Valley's notoriously hot, probably the hottest part of our state because it just is in that river valley there, and just gets super hot there. But they showed the timeline, and like as the sun goes down or whatever, it gets cooler. It's not like even though it might have been 100-degree day down there, it cools off, and so it was in like the 70s or the 60s or whatever it was at 3 a.m. and then suddenly in between 3 and 4 it jumped up to 95 degrees, and it was like some storm system that pushes air down or whatever, and just like, so I just couldn't imagine. I've never felt it all of a sudden turn 95. That would feel like something's wrong.
No.
Weird.
We normally feel the opposite in the winter, like where it's 80 like during the day, and then it like is 30 overnight, right? Like that's
Right.
a Colorado thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just
blizzard, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, the weather. I feel like we're up in the Midwest talking about the weather. We're supposed to talk
talking
Oh
about the weather.
yeah. Oh yeah. How's the weather up there? Oh, it's
Yeah.
good. Good fishing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good filler.
It's hot. Okay? That's
It
what's
is
going
hot.
on out
All
there.
right.
It's
Write
hot.
that down. Africa.
Write
hot.
it down.
Go.
Get
Hot.
your boat out. Get your camper out.
Hey, but with that,
Get out and
though,
enjoy it this weekend.
That's right. Things are happening. Like
People are doing stuff.
Things are happening. I mean,
What have we been doing? We haven't been doing this in a little while. We're
we
slacking.
haven't been doing this because we've been
Yeah.
real busy. So
Well, not a
Networking
bad
thing
problem.
getting in the way.
not
Not
a bad
a bad problem to have.
Nope.
Can't complain
Nope.
about that.
problem. Enjoying the
Nope.
summer. Got lots going on.
It's July, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's almost
Costco
end of
has
July.
Halloween stuff out. In case you're wondering, that was fun.
Yeah.
I
that
came
was-
home.
that's
I
nice.
came home with a Halloween rug. My weekly Costco trip this
and
week,
put it out front.
and I put it out front. And guess who had a fit?
well,
I'm gonna guess that guy next to you.
Yeah, that one.
guilty.
That one. He was like, "It's not." He said, "It's not okay."
Mm-mm.
it's
not.
like
It
it's
can't.
like
it
witches.
can't be outside for Labor
No.
Day. Like it
It's
can't
witch.
be out for
It's
Labor Day.
witches' feet. It's so cute, like the Wicked Witch of the West or the East or whatever, and Wizard of Oz. How it's like laying underneath something. That's the little rug that I got. It had little witches' feet just laying there, and I thought it was so cute. Like there was a witch under my house.
Yeah.
And we took it away.
Mid July. I don't know. That's.
I
think I'm on board with Chris on that one.
I'm
So,
ready.
yeah.
I'm
No.
ready.
You got to do it at the
Nah.
appropriate time. You can't.
Yeah.
It takes away. It just takes away like the effect if you like if we had it there that long, it would not have as much impact when you put up your decorations.
I don't know. It's a talking point. Like somebody comes
Like,
in my house and they go, "What's going on with the
Well,
Halloween rug?
unfortunately,
What's wrong with you all?"
I don't really. I mean,
He doesn't want people at the house.
yeah, that's right. That's not how I do business. Like, don't come knocking on my door and expect me to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Well, either
You're
way, if you're
yeah.
if you're in the market for some fun Halloween swag, it's at Costco right now.
Yeah.
Probably Target
Not-
coming up and everywhere else.
I don't
too.
think it's a bad time to buy it. I'd say probably not the best time to buy it because I feel like this is when you're paying full retail. It's kind of the same thing as
Yeah.
Christmas stuff. Like, now you should be, early in the summer or in the off season, you should buy your Christmas stuff. And then same with the Halloween stuff, buy it after
Yeah,
the holidays.
100%, 100%. But
'Cause they're
This
just
is-
giving it
this
away
is-
at that point.
never
This is
think
when you
about
buy
it
all
until
your-
after the
all your
fact.
your snowboarding stuff, if you're getting skis, jackets, coats, all that stuff, everything right now is between now and the end of next month. Amazing.
Yep.
Shannon
Amazing
and
prices.
I, we go up to the mountains quite a bit over the summer, and I'm blown away by the clearance stuff up there. Like if you can make it up there, it's I think they're just making room for the new stuff, and they have really good prices. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
half
Half
off.
off. It's wild.
You know, like really, I mean, excellent prices on any of that stuff. I know locally you could do that same thing too. Like I know there was a Sneograb was a big one that they used to be. It would be like celebrated in the summertime to go get all of your ski stuff. You know, but
They saw similar. Yeah, they saw similar like that, but not like Sneograb. Sneograb was like crazy.
Sneograb was awesome. Yeah,
Do they still do that, or they
don't think
don't do it
so.
anymore?
I think that
No,
place went out
no.
of business or something.
They did.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but yeah, well, but now that we're talking about shopping, let's talk about what else. Who other people are shopping out there right now?
Well, I mean, in our neck of the woods, we're definitely getting some new buyers, and we're also closing deals and have, you know, listings coming on and that kind of thing. So definitely real estate is moving. We know that there was a rate decrease recently, right? Like the rates.
Today, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
the
we
rates
were
dropped,
below
but-
7 is what I read, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not a
the
lender.
the Feds didn't drop it. The banks dropped it. So the Fed hasn't dropped the rates yet, but the lenders have lowered their rates about a tenth of a point, which is great for buyers, especially with the amount of houses that are on the market. We're getting amazing concessions from sellers, things like that. So we're able to see, like, we're working on one right now that they'll be able to get into like a 5.5% interest rate, which is, you know, phenomenal.
Wow.
and that's
On
that's
the
on
seller
30-year.
concession side, or
Yeah.
with the rate buy down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
With the rate
good.
buy down.
What
Yeah.
do you think is going to happen with the rates here coming up? Do you think they're going to start to slowly go down again, like they're anticipating? And when do you think that's going to happen? Because that's $1 million question that everybody's like waiting
Yeah.
on the sidelines for this massive drop. And I don't know if it's going to happen overnight, and if it's going to be that frenzy, that Shark Tank that we experienced again. And I'm kind of bracing myself for that if it actually does.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think you're going to see any rate drop until September. That's my honest opinion. That's typically the time before an election, especially. You see administrations, you know, you see a rate drop, and it's not going to be dramatic. It's not going to be, you know, we're not going to get into the 4s, right? We're not going to see that. We're going to see, you know, maybe another, you know, 10th or, you know, 0.15 or something like that on the rate. But that's going to be that push of trying to get those numbers down. You know, that's part of the game, right? That's sometimes, you know, this is a wait and see, you know, but houses are still selling. People are still buying and selling. And, you know, you heard the phrase a long time ago, buy, you know, what was it? Date the rate. And everybody's like, oh, that's such a bad term, you know, because people have these, you know, these rates that they've had for 2 years. Well, you know, you've known that for 2 years, but they still have a lower rate than what you could get today. And they can still refinance. They can still do other stuff as these rates keep coming down. So,
Right.
Well, and you know, we all know that home ownership is such a great, I mean, just such a valuable tool to have and to, you know, to get on board. And so I think a lot of people are doing what you're saying and, you know, just taking the rates as what they are and then anticipating that, you know, they're going to live there for a while or, you know, and refinance once the rates do drop down to a more manageable level for them, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the time to buy is when you can afford it. So
Well,
it's
and-
always a good investment, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know,
And we're talking about this, you know, this is it. There's a buyer's market right now. If you want to get a condo, which is a fantastic starter home, if you want to get a condo anywhere in the city, those prices are ridiculously low right now. There's a 6-month supply of condos on the market. That's a perfect buyer's market. So if you want to beat up a price, you want to get concessions, you want to do all that stuff, getting into a condo, if that's what you want, this is your opportunity. And so if it's not something, you know, you're like, oh, my first house, I want it to be a house. That's not typically how a first home goes. Like when you buy a house, you're buying a house, you're trying to build equity, and then you use that equity to buy another house, or you keep it rented out, go buy the next house. I mean, sometimes people right now are talking about like, oh, I got to move into a $500,000 house. That's just not how it has worked historically. And people are setting themselves up with like these mindsets of you're going to move into like your dream home on your first house, and that's just not what it is.
right.
it's gonna be a starter home. And I think if people took that and said, if I wasn't in the rent race anymore and I was actually owning a home, I could actually build equity and do all that fun stuff with my property. Uh, Getting into some of these condos, there's some amazing deals right now. And you could look at a building and say, I love this building. I'm going to go through and look at every one of these building or every one of these units on every floor, and which one everyone has the best views, is most updated, all those other pieces. That's the one I'm going to write an offer on, and I'm going to get concessions. I'm going to get probably a price reduction. There's going to be some other pieces of that because there's an abundance of those properties.
Why do you think there's an abundance of those particular properties right now versus single family?
You've seen a couple of reasons. You've seen taxes on those in across the board have gone up for every homeowner. HOAs have kind of finally fallen under all the DORA guidelines of having the right amount of insurance, having the right amount of assets on hand in case there's an emergency, and so you're starting to see that where people are like, I don't want to deal with the HOA anymore. I don't want to do this. But if you're renting right now in an apartment complex or in a condo, the only difference in your life would be your rent's not going to go up, 5 to 6% every year, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Right.
that's the difference. So you're living in those pieces now. So people want to be outside, they want to have a yard, they want to have all that stuff. That's a second home typically. That's not typically a first time home. But as you're going through, if people always say, when is the best time to buy? If you're trying to get a condo right now, it is the best time to buy. So
Interesting.
like it's a buyer's market, and we haven't had a buyer's market in Colorado in a long time. So, and that's across most of the major like cities in Colorado. So whether you're in Denver, Colorado Springs, Boulder, Fort Collins, across the board, the condos, there's a ton of condos that are available. So
Interesting. Well, that's a really good tidbit, I guess, for our people or an audience that are interested in maybe tapping into that particular style of property. And then you also said something interesting about rent a second ago about rent increases. So the main thing to remember with your mortgage and the place that you own is that your mortgage isn't going to increase unless your property taxes increase or your homeowner's insurance and HOA amount, because some of that can flux through the years, which we just saw that recently on our mortgage because our homeowners or something happened on one of my major things that's in the account, it bumped my escrow to where I needed to add more to it. So but it wasn't a heck of a lot. It was maybe under $100. But either way, it's not the, what did you say, 5 to 6% year over year increase that is an average, would you say? And is that for Colorado, or do you think that's nationwide? What's the?
That's across the board in the nation. So most rents are adjusted off of the consumer price index, and so you did see on the consumer price index, that's inflation. In the last year, we saw some of those rents were jumping 9%, 8-9%, because that's what they were writing leases at that point. And so that's kind of what the measurement tool is for rents. If that's a fair number or not, that's not for me to decide. That's the number. But as you're going through, even the administration just announced that they're trying to do like a 5% cap, and saying, for anyone that owns more than 50 units, you'd have a 5% cap on raising rents. And that sounds great. Like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Like my rent's never going to go up more than 5%. But that's only if your landlord has more than 50 units, and they can opt out. They can there's a tax incentive for them for staying at 5%, which is it lets you depreciate your asset at an accelerated rate. And so we're giving a tax break again to what everyone considers the evil landlords. So It is what it is, but that there's got to be an incentive to try to cap rates and get people to be equitable in that. So uh, there for the rental market right now, there's not enough properties. We need to build more houses. We need to build more condos. We need to build more. If you want more renters or you want more homeowners, you had to build more of them because you don't have enough. So that's what's going to bring down prices. That's what's going to do all that that trying to cap things is going to do. But it would be better to invest that money into building those properties or giving incentives to builders to build more properties so that we don't have not enough homes for all these people. So
Pretty interesting.
yeah,
That's for sure. We're seeing a lot here in the Springs of the multifamily apartment complexes, style homes popping up. So when you were touching on that, I can see it in our market. I can
Yeah.
see the
That's
buildings
a direct
popping
result of trying to create more housing for
for that. Yeah, for that style of
yeah,
right. Yep.
individual that want
Yep.
that is here to to live in that. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. That's for sure.
yeah. I mean, we live in an interesting time. I mean, this is people talk about there's things cost more. This happens. This happens. And this is no politics, whatever. But this is saying pay attention. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to like what's actually happening. Are you paying more here and there? And pay attention to what's happening in your legislature, especially the state legislature, because that does impact you. And there's stuff on the ballot that you should really pay attention to. And whether it's tax increases, things like that. If taxes go up for landlords, that typically has a trickle effect to tenants, and so it's pushed in the guise of other ways. But it's still you're basically you're pushing for a tax increase, and which means your rent's going to go up. So getting out of that rent race, my advice would be like this is the time to buy if you want a condo, because
Sure.
you could definitely get out of that race. So
Whoop whoop.
All right.
yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
yeah, that's the voodoo.
Yep.
There it is. Well, I think that's a
Yeah.
good stopping point, at least, so we everybody gets on their merry little way for the rest of the day and the Friday coming up.
Yeah. Enjoy
So,
your
yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, enjoy your Friday, enjoy
you need
your
help
weekend.
buying some of those condos, we'd love to
Yeah.
help you. We're here to answer any of your questions and obviously serve you guys as well as we can. So we are we're happy to do it, and we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you.
Yep, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
Boom.
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 All right.
Have a great weekend, everybody.